So it seems like we finally have some reportings of Terence Crawford's next move. Now, Terence Crawford versus Tszyu is already in the talks to potentially happen next. Tszyu's manager, Glenn Jennings, has revealed fight would be for Tszyu's WBC and WBO Super Welterweight World titles if he beats Sebastian Fundora on Saturday night because Keith Thurman decided to pull out the fight. Now, I made a long time ago what are the next steps for Terence Crawford, and I put Tszyu in as an option, but I overall wanted to see him face Canelo. Now, I know a lot of people are kind of against this and say Canelo would not gain anything from being Terence Crawford, but I think on the contrary, because a lot of people believe Terence Crawford will defeat Canelo Alvarez. But it seems like this fight might be a fight to happen. Now, I did see another report, right, where Terence Crawford's looking to fight an opponent at 168, so maybe he could show Canelo how dominant he can be at 168, but I'm not too sure on how realistic that is, but I am pretty sure this is, based on sources, that this is 100% in negotiations per se, but news can turn around, do a 360, as you guys know, it's the boxing world, so news can turn around, do a 360, and I wouldn't be surprised if Terence Crawford does face somebody at 168, but now we're looking at 154, and Tszyu versus Terence Crawford. Let's see.
Guys, so it's official news now. Terence Crawford is in serious negotiations with Tszyu, assuming Tszyu gets past Sebastian Fundora the end of this month. If Terence Crawford doesn't get that Canelo Alvarez fight that he's craving for, he will most likely go for undisputed at 154, becoming a 3-time undisputed champion. Terence Crawford, he's been talking about moving up to 154 for quite some time. Him and Errol Spence both have been talking about moving up to 154. And I've always felt that Terence Crawford versus Tszyu was a perfect matchup because Tszyu was looking more and more like a beast at the weight class. But it's really unfortunate for Tszyu that Keith Thurman pulled out of that fight because that would have been a good look for Tszyu if he would have became the first person to knock out Keith Thurman. No matter how old and small Keith Thurman was, old media would have been praising Tszyu like the junior middleweight Tyson Fury, which would have made the Terence Crawford-Tszyu fight even bigger. Now, Tszyu, he's favored to beat Sebastian Fundora. You never really know how Fundora is going to come back off of a loss. He could end up being just as good as he was when he was undefeated, or even better. Or no longer fight like a fighter with the confidence of an undefeated fighter, which happens a lot. But Tszyu versus Fundora is a hell of a fight. It's a hell of a matchup. It'll be interesting to see how Tszyu is going to deal with the volume punching of Fundora. And, of course, how Fundora is going to deal with the power of Tszyu. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
So, yeah, when it comes to Tszyu versus Terence Crawford, I think it's a very interesting fight overall. Do I think the fight's going to happen? Honestly, there's a likelihood of it. My only concern is that Tszyu's not a big name. As big of a name outside of boxing. Kind of like, a household name. I don't think Tszyu has that. So, and Crawford has said numerous times that he's only interested in the biggest fights. So I think Terence Crawford's next fight will be a setup for an even bigger fight. And I don't know if Tszyu's that. Because although the fight would be interesting for me and a lot of fight fans who are keeping up with boxing in general and people who also just love Terence Crawford, a bigger fight there's nothing bigger than a Canelo fight. And so I do think, the reports of him potentially fighting a person at 168 to show how dominant he can be at 168 is the overall best option so he can get that big fight, that big payday. And I know all the Canelo fans, payday. Okay, let's relax, If it's so easy, why not? I would say if you're a Canelo fan, why not? You guys should be asking for the Terence Crawford fight so that way he can be a part of Canelo's resume. It only makes Canelo look more great if he beats him, which I don't think he will. But I'll make that video once that fight gets announced, hopefully. But also Canelo has to beat Benavidez, which he's ducking, which we all know. And I made multiple videos about that, so y'all can go see. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys like Tszyu versus Terence Crawford overall? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll be commenting back to every comment mostly. And hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to subscribe. I post boxing news weekly, daily, anytime there's something good. So I'm out. Peace.